You've got to do a better job of working harder to put up points.
About 1 minute into the first quarter. They set the pick. Here's Aminu. And he goes in for the dunk.
I tell you what, you gotta love his aggressiveness finishing inside like that.
Well, his leaping ability, Clark, gives him a great advantage.
And that's why they look to get him the ball around the rim. It's either a dunk or free throws every time.
Aldridge kicks to Duncan. Spurs working the ball around now. 4 on the shot clock. It's stolen by Aminu. Pass to McCollum. Can't get it to go. Great D that time from Leonard. Portland did a lot of things right last year in their 51-win season. The one constant for them was how Greg, played defense.
You know, Kevin, they were good all season long in terms of staying focused on that side of the ball. Really made sure to challenge every shot. And with their length and reach, they should be a factor defensively.
For Portland, they've gone 2 for 4 from the field so far today. Lillard attacking. He feeds it to McCollum. Here's Aminu. And the shot is long.
Most of the time, that shot will go down. Boy, the defenders have to make sure they tag him.
Leonard kicks to Duncan. From deep, Green. And they will call over the back on the play.
You know, right call. Gave the officials no choice there. I mean, they've got to make that call over the back.
Yeah, I mean, he went chest first into the man in front of him. My goodness, I'm not an official, and I could have gotten that one right.
Here's Lillard. That misses off the backboard.
And that's a well-contested shot.
Well, we've seen him before. He does not allow you to just get easy baskets. He's always going to make you work for it.
Plumlee with it. Leonard picks him up. Kicks it to Aminu. Vonleh with it. Aldridge is there. Over in the corner, Lillard. Pass to Plumlee. He's looking for Lillard and finds him. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
And one thing that everybody loves about Coach Pop is his frankness. You get a taste of it in interviews, but he's as honest and straightforward with you as he is with anybody.
Can I put like a charge down somewhere and then come
Plumlee with the screen. Shot off the screen. And a little luck that time, but it drops. Lillard's got his second bucket of the game to go. Well, you've got Greg Popovich, and I think he puts this at times grumpy demeanor in a more of a spotlight. He's playing along, as we all know, with the sideline reporters. He knows, Greg, you know this firsthand, when to turn it on, when to turn it off. He can be as compassionate a person, Clark, that you and I have ever been around.
Yeah, he's competitive, but he understands that we're all human, and he treats people the right way all the time.
No good from Ginobili.
Boy, that's a surprising miss right there. He usually feasts on those wide open opportunities.
And here's McCollum for 3. And it's slammed in by Plumlee.
And Kevin, plays like that, really the reason they've got a nice lead right now. Just a great job on the glass.
And Greg, the jam and the follow gets their whole bench jumping. Clark, look at them. They are really into it.
Yeah, they sure are. That's a little salt in the wound there. I mean, they take a miss and turn it into one of the plays of the game. That hurts.
And Aminu kicks to Lillard. They get it back. Here's Plumlee. And that concludes the first quarter of play. Trailblazers out in front, up by 5. From Portland, we're back in a moment. Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Trailblazers.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
Yeah, and one thing, Clark, I've noticed is how quick their hands have been tonight. Thanks to that, they've gotten a lot of points off of turnover.
On the court for San Antonio here in the second. The timeless Parker and Manu are the 1 and the 2. Aldridge out there with Duncan. And it's Leonard in the 3 spot. It's not really a surprise at this point, but the Spurs were in the playoffs last year. 18th consecutive appearance.
Yeah, and they weren't in that usual top 3 spot, though. Although, had they won the last game, instead of being the 6th, they could have been the 2nd.
Right.
Didn't have that home court advantage, and as they went up against the Clippers, it really cost them in that 7th game.
Now, this is why the breakaway rim was invented. For plays just like that.
Well, he almost brought the whole thing down, Clark, by hanging on that long.
Yeah, he did.
I tell you what, though, great dunk, and this is even a better game we got going on right now.
And he gets contact and the whistle on the shot. 2 shots coming up.
And against the Clippers, the Spurs didn't have home court advantage. I mean, ended up playing a big part in that series. They ended up losing in Game 7 in Staples with some questionable timekeeping, but that's not why they lost.
An almost entirely new group here for Portland. Davis is checked in for Noah Vonleh. Crabbe comes in for Al-Farouq Aminu. Gerald Henderson, he's checked in for McCollum. And Tim Frazier subbed in for Lillard. Green, he's checked in for the Spurs.
And that Spurs series sure didn't feel like a first-round matchup. I mean, you could have easily have seen either team playing for the title, regardless of who won the series. Both teams acknowledged that it felt like a conference finals matchup.
Those are the kind of nice inside looks they've gotten in the first half here.
And I think they should continue to work the ball down low, Clark. It's really going to free up their outside shooting.
The Spurs making a switch here. Anderson's checked in. Now here's Henderson. Here's Frazier. The rebound by Anderson. Spurs trail by 5. Green dishes to Parker. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Green.
I tell you what, that's just a major unforced error right there, guys. My goodness.
Henderson passes to Plumlee. The dish to Henderson. Back to Plumlee. It's hauled in by LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge has got his 3rd rebound tonight. Now let's take a look at the teams that have been holding their opponents to the fewest points in the last 10 games. Number 1, the Spurs.
I mean, they've been impressive on the defensive end, and they may have caught a few teams on off nights, but you've got to give them credit. They've made scoring a chore when you look at their opponents.
Back to Green. Parker outside. And a great assist by Aldridge as that one goes in.
The D just sagged off just enough, and no hesitation on his part.
Inside. And it's slammed in by Plumlee.
It really does make the game easy for your teammates when you can lead them to the rim that well with a pass.
Portland was just fantastic at home last season. We expect that, though, of this team, Greg. 32-9. It was packed each game.
And Kevin, of that 32-win mark, how about that was the 4th best in the entire league. You don't win your division without winning at home, and Portland definitely took care of business.
And so they foul intentionally.
Really no idea why you're fouling in a situation like that. You know, maybe there's some bad blood between those two.
Yeah, but that's no excuse for that kind of foul. I mean, that might be an explanation for it, but certainly doesn't justify it. And even then, it's just not a good play.
And the Trailblazers making a change here. Kamen's checked in. Here's Diaw. And the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play. David West, he's checked in for San Antonio. Butler comes in for Daniel Green.
You know, you take a look at this group of Spurs and you wonder if they've peaked. I mean, it seems you say that a lot with this team, and they prove you wrong. What Popovich said last year, he feels it might actually be the case.
And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run, don't you think? Clark to the hoop for him there.
Momentum can swing on plays like that, Kevin, especially when the finish has that much thunder on it.
Crabbe, good. You know, one thing about this San Antonio team, they just didn't go away last year. Pop himself said he felt they peaked in the 2014 finals.
You know, and you wonder if what Pop said is true. Spurs lost in the first round last year, and they'll be going through a lot of changes in the near future. And with the way they run that organization, they'll still be competing, I believe, for quite some time.
Anderson with it. Butler covering. And another three from Portland.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agenda.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see that kind of unselfishness. Really hard not to appreciate all the assists they've racked up. After going scoreless in the first, he's really found a way to turn it on here in the second quarter.
Henderson. And Butler sends it back. And here's Mills from the arc. That's good. Here is Frazier. Pass to Crabbe. Dishes it to Kaman. Solid play in the low block, and that one's good. Kaman's got his first 2 points. And a pretty tightly.
150 for the cheapest, the scope that I use every time for everything. I think it's the cheapest one too.
And 2K Sports.
I got every guy besides one defender, and I'm about to get him 67 coins.
All right, I want everyone to give it up for yours.
And we welcome you back. Glad to have you with us as more basketball is on the way. During the break, the players getting refueled with Gatorade. They're looking amped up and ready to get going once again. Look at Gerald Henderson. He's been playing really well.
He created a lot of quality shots for himself in that first half, and he knew when to pass it up when the double team came.
And that led to a very high points per shot number for him. For those of you that are into analytics, that stat really tells how efficient the player has been. And he's been very efficient so far.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third.
Oh, good.
Look at Gerald Henderson. He's been playing really well.
And in terms of points in that first half, you know, he's now at a point where we expect him to perform that way.
And, Greg, that tells you all you need to know about what a talent he is. I mean, I'll bet he adds a lot more to his totals after the break.
Lillard at the point with C.J. McCollum playing the 2. Chris came in out there with Von. And it's Aminu in at the 3 spot. So that's who Terry Stotts starts the second half with. Now Leonard. Diaw missing on the 3.
And you know what? You allow a guy to get right to the rim like that. That's your only option.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, free throws are always better than a layup. So I'd agree with you there, Greg.
Well, Portland had another strong season against the rest of the West. Ended up with a record of 31-21 in the conference, and that was good enough to earn them the 4th spot in the West.
Here's Lillard. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. They get Boris Diaw.
Oh, the officials are all over that one.
Clearly a foul. I mean, didn't give him any choice but to blow the whistle. I mean, you got to play without fouling.
Mason Plumlee's checked in for Chris Kaman.
Steady work at the free throw line. Just what we're used to seeing out of him.
West outside. Ginobili attacking. And easy 2 points on the layup. Ginobili's got his second bucket of the game to go.
They are just killing them on the interior.
Yeah, you can't say that with enough emphasis. I mean, the defenders are just not being aggressive enough down low. You got to play with some physicality in the paint.
To the middle. Here's Leonard. And it's all evened up. Leonard's got 8 points.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
That's right. 5 of their last 6 makes were on the interior. They've established their inside presence. And if you're the guy who has to guard him, it is never going to be an easy night for you.
In the corner, it's Ginobili. From deep 3-point range. Again, Leonard missing.
Well, they're fortunate. The defense was taking a big chance leaving him that wide open behind the arc.
And Plumlee kicks to Lillard. The pass to McCollum. And the 3 off target. Spurs trail by 3. Here's Leonard. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Damian Lillard. That's his first foul.
Had an established position there.
Yeah, and I like this call because you want the refs in that situation. If there's any doubt, err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt to the offense.
For Boris Diaw. Green, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili. And Tony Parker is subbed in for Patty Mills. San Antonio's gotten blank in the 3-point land so far in the third. Still 0